Recorded Books presents Cultivation, Battle Mage Farmer Book 3, a fantasy LitRPG adventure by Seth Ring, narrated by Michael Kramer. Chapter 1. Even if this does work, I may be out of time. Spreading the last handful of seed, John turned around and watched Ferdy pulling the rake across the field, covering the freshly scattered wheat seeds with an inch of the valley's rich soil. Ben was riding on the back of the rake, practicing his balance while the massive bull strolled across the field. Letting out a sigh, John walked around the edge of the field, heading back to where Ellie was standing. "Do you think these seeds will work?" Ellie asked, her eyes hopeful.
Rabia says there's only a 40% chance, so no, I'm not getting my hopes up. We'll probably need a couple more generations to breed the traits we want. Thankfully, we can speed up the growth of this field with the growth acceleration flowers, but even that has a limit, so we're really at the mercy of chance. I'll bring some over tonight when I water these fields, and we should see some progress tomorrow.
How long do you think this batch will take?
My hope is 4 weeks, but I don't know if that's realistic. There's a limit to how many times we can accelerate their growth before they mutate, which we need to avoid as much as possible. But at this point, we can only wait and see how it turns out, John said, taking the hoe and shovel Ellie was holding. How much time do we have before lunch?
Maybe 20 minutes.
All right, I'm going to chat with Rabia. We need to leave right after lunch if we're going to make it into town on time.
Ellie's expression gained a hint of sorrow as she nodded silently, heading into the house while John walked to the barn to drop off the empty bag of wheat seeds and the gardening tools Ellie had been using. While he was organizing everything, Ferdy and Ben finished up in the field, and the bull brought the rake over. Hopping down from Ferdy's back, Ben helped pull the rake into the barn, where John hung it up. By this point, Ben was extremely familiar with John's abnormal strength, and the sight of him casually lifting the heavy metal rake to hang it in its spot didn't faze the young man at all.
Can you let Evan and Thomas know that lunch will be ready in 20 minutes?
Yes, sir. Watching Ben run off, John let out a sigh. It had been almost 2 full years since he'd arrived in the farm, and while a tremendous amount had changed, some things hadn't changed at all. Opening up his status window, John checked over his skills, spells, and quests. Name, John Sutton. Age, 28. Class, Mage. Spells, 9. Active quests, Grow Wheat. Skill list, Mana Breath, Max. Arcane Tongue, Max. Mana Control, Max. Mana Reinforcement, Max. Mental Model, 43. Skill points, 0. Spell list, Fireball, Novice. Flame Arrow, Apprentice. Twisting Flames, Mage. Dragon's Breath, Mage. Summon Water, Novice. Water Arrow, Apprentice. Downpour, Acolyte. Raging Waters, Mage. Kelvis's Greater Scrying, Mage. Quest list. Prevent the Apocalypse, Grow Wheat. Doom points, 95 of 100. For a moment, John's gaze hovered on his doom points. It had been barely 2 weeks since they had explored the Shadow Tower and he had slain Earl Vassic, but he had already gained 2 doom points. While the pace was already slower than the 3 to 4 per week he had gained before he came to the valley, picking up another doom point each week put him on a serious clock. With just 5 weeks left, if he couldn't figure out a way to avoid gaining more doom points, John could feel the pressure building up around him. Even more concerning was the change he had noticed in his quest. Prevent the Apocalypse. Prevent the Apocalypse. Ruined by war, this world is teetering on the brink of annihilation. Food and other resources are growing more scarce, and the echoes of destruction threaten to rip apart even the tightest community. Powerful beasts grow even more powerful still, their desire for dominance causing them to emerge from their lairs, while corrupt class holders attempt to change the world to suit.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.